Welcome back to another reading and correcting of Crimes by me, Kindar. The Tiger writes and I. The Tiger Supervisor, or the Tiger Supervises. Today we are doing chapter 29. A scan of the immediate area showed a lot of available connections. Each one a computer willing to talk with them. He kept the scan to the immediate physical area, so they were all on the other. So they were all. Wait, what? A scan of the immediate area showed a lot of available connections. Each one a computer willing to talk with them. He kept the scan to the immediate physical area, so they were all on the other ship. If this was anything other than a lost ship, he'd have his pick of ways to enter the system. But he didn't trust these connections. If it were him, he would be monitoring all of them, and they would have traps. He told his search programs to ignore anything the scan had returned and sent it looking for other connection points. When it didn't return anything, he changed the parameters. Anything that might be a connection point. This got him results. 6 decoys, and the 7th had such a low probability Alex almost ignored it. Only the voice of one of his professors berating his student for not being systematic made him stop long enough to see that the code surrounding the point of interest didn't do anything. Once he realized that, he knew he had his way in. His display showed him the lab console was active. Asir, are you ready? A voice came back quivering. Yes, but what do you expect me to do? I'm giving you look-only access to my feed. You're doing the same thing as when we fought the engineering system. You look at the big picture and tell me what's coming. Tell me anytime an internal access point becomes active. I'll need to know that. Unlike the engineering system, this coercionist isn't going to be stopping with me just throwing a bunch of locks open. Here, take a breath. Okay, I'm ready. Just stay calm. Look for his patterns. Once you have that, you'll be able to predict what he's going to do. Alex's heart was racing. This was going to be a lot tougher than his other job. He grinned. I'm going in now. He sends programs to a dozen of the obvious connection point to mimic intrusion. He used that confusion to sneak into the camouflage one. You are not allowed here, the ship system said. My director has been summoned. Leave now or face prosecution. So much for sneaking in. Come on. You haven't even given me a chance to tell you why I'm here. You are an unregistered coercionist. Your presence here is against Statute 1254 of the Open Net Act, which states that, I know. I'm not supposed to use my skill in the pursuit of illegal activities. Do you have any idea how boring that is? The reason for the act is irrelevant. The system's voice was cold, deep, and harsh. It barely had any personality. I told Alex there were control programs in place to keep it in check. If he could find them, he could unsettle the ship enough to give him an edge. It didn't have long before their ship's portions got involved. Look, I'm not a bad guy. I'm just doing my job here. So how about you turn around? Any chance you can do that for me? No. Single word answer had the ring of finality. I'm just being difficult. Alex spun the display. The control code would be as rigid as the voice, utter stillness in a sea of change. Hard lines, unwavering in their duties. I'm sure we can work. You have incoming, Asir interrupted. One of the internal connection points flashed. Got it. Send out a dozen more programs to simulate more intrusions. He's going to go for the big boys. Let me know when he's through them. How about this? He told the system. You do me this one favor, and I'll owe you one for down the line. I'll owe you one down the line. No. Or finality. There. He had a command string so strict it was bristling. Spent a few precious seconds studying it. This one controlled the ship's moral code, forcing it to do what it was told was right. This was why it knew the statute, but it didn't explain the harsh tone. He attached his code to it, camouflaged it, but left it inactive. Then went back to searching for other control. He's down with the decoys, as Seal said. He's heading for you. Alex released a handful of clones of himself and sent them away with instruction to muck about the system. They couldn't do any real damage, but the coercionist could know that. Wouldn't know that. He's going after the false U's, but he's making short work of them. Alex found another command. One more promising, it kept the system's emotion in check. If it had been put in place as part of the initial programming, this computer had never experienced feelings. It had to have no idea how to handle the flood of sensation. Instant chaos. Alex wasn't subtle. He ripped the code apart. And in the instant of shrieking, he placed a little program there, one that would keep the antibodies from rebuilding control. What did you do? The computer screamed. Oh, it ain't much. Just give you a taste of life. Make it stop! Come on, live a little. He used the ship's confusion to access the code and do quick rewrites. Even in its current state, it didn't let him do much more than a few lines before protecting itself. There was a flash in the distance. Someone else connected, Esser said. Can you keep track of them both? Yes, but this new one's going directly for the connection you used. Alex cursed and abandoned what he was doing to focus on protecting his access. He wrapped it in a maze of code, a variation of what he'd used earlier against the Seer. He lengthened some of the distances as much as he could, twisted the other around on themselves, mirror code to other areas, then wrapped the access point in a tight ball of code. That done, he set a program out to look for other camouflage connections. Alex was under no illusion this one would remain open for long. Would remain open long. And who do we have here? Someone asked. Alex spun the display, trying to find who had spoken, but then realized it had been a system-wide broadcast. Felt relief for a moment. They hadn't found him. Then returned focused on his job. He grinned and set a handful of points to bounce his transmission. I am the Crimson Pirate. The what? Are you kidding me? Alex couldn't tell of the gender of the coercionist. That what he was hearing was a digitized translation of the voice. The system didn't care for man or woman, if man or woman were talking to them. But disbelief came clear. No, I'm quite serious. Alex watches his opponent dismantle the program he left on the control. This guy was good. I'm a pirate in crimson. Can't miss me. I really stand out. So you think you're a comedian? No, I'm a pirate. Aren't you listening? This program found the location of another connection, but it was too far. It wouldn't be able to do a handover without being caught. He needed another strategy. Not very good. The coercionist was going through his defenses now. What can I say? I'm new at this, he said as he watched his code be unraveled. He reinforced it as much as he could, but this wouldn't work. He wrote a quick program and sent it to the available connection. Now all he had to do was buy himself time. No, the coercionist said, you're not new at this. At least not at coercion. The unraveling slowed. Alex thought his code was getting the better of his opponent, but then realized he was simply taking his time now. He'd taken Alex's measure and wasn't worried anymore. Did you study with old man Ravelo? How? Alex shut his mouth before he revealed anything. Oh, he was my teacher. 10, 15 years ago? Subjective, of course. I recognize his syntax in your code. When did you study under him? Alex froze. He couldn't have picked up that from his old teacher. He was better than making a mistake as basic as that. By reflex, he started calling up his programs to check the code, but stopped. He didn't have the time. He had to take care of this first, then he'd go through his programs and remove such clear signature. Shit. He'd have to send a program over the network to mask his previous work. Otherwise, they'd be able to track him all the way back to Luminex, get his name. He'd become a wanted man, even if they never actually see him coerce. Focus, Alex. Survive this. Fix the rest later. You might as well tell me, the coercionist said. You're not winning this. Alex's program activated. He was wrenched out of the system, then he was back through the other connection point. He fought the disorientation. He didn't have the time. Where was he? Medical system? He sent an update to the program so it would wait for his command this time. Hey, computer, you there? Alex blocked as many of the connections as he could see. No answers. They quarantined it. They didn't want Alex to be able to gain control of the computer. The advantage was it couldn't tell on him, but he was limited to affecting the local system. There wasn't much he could do with medical controls to make the ship leave. An epidemic alarm? Like they believe that. His code around one of their access points shattered. There you are, the coercionist said. That was a neat trick. You weren't new at this. Alex sent a few crawling programs at his opponent. You guys really keep your ship mind tightly locked? It wouldn't do any harm to the coercionist, but there was a chance that it infect his bank of pre-written programs. We have to. The coercion vanished before he got anywhere close to the other. Do you think free will is something we can allow it to have with the armament we carry? Any instability, and it would blow us and anyone around us. Talk about having trust issues. No one joins law enforcement because they're trusting people. Burst of code exploded toward Alex. So disruptive it registered as visual static. Alex made his voice sound strained. You know, I'm starting to think you don't actually like me. Put a wall between the incoming code and him, but purposely made it weak. There was a sigh. Can't even tell if you're serious or not. I am. You were very good. I admire that. I'm pretty good myself. We're a match set, don't you think? Don't you? His wall crumbled and the code came at him. Alex waited until the last moment to activate his program. Wrenched again. A moment within his own system, then back to the other ship. Where? What could he use? How long did he have? The code around him was balancing something. Money. Check with himself. No, not money. Power. Relay commands. Power consumption versus speed. He was in the propulsion system. Okay, from here he could stop them. All he had to do was find the code that would shut down their engine. But he wasn't an engineer. He set out a search program to tag anything with an on-off state. Going to have to tell me how you do that, the coercionist said, before I send you to prison, that is. Alex saw the active connection. Damn, you're fast. You wouldn't have time to go through the switches. You needed a different tactic. He began quoting. This is my ship. I know each and every pocket of codes. There's nowhere you can go that I can't find you. Good to know. Next time I drop by, I'll make sure it's when you're sleeping. And what? You'll peek in on me? Watch me sleep? The idea of watching a stranger sleep sent a shudder of disgust down Alex's spine. Don't worry, you're not my type. How do you know? You said we're a match set. That was for platonic relationship. There's no way I'd want to be intimate with you. That hurts. Too bad. Too bad? Funny guy. You really think flooding this place with searches is going to slow me down? What are you even looking for? I'm not so much looking to slow you down as to stop you completely. His program was done, a more elegant version of what he'd written to him on the lab during his war with the engineering system. At this time, instead of opening, he was shutting everything down. Let them try to chase. Let them try to chase them when they can't get the engines going. Whoa! How did that get past my editor? But this time, instead of opening, he was shutting everything down. Let them try for a chase. And they couldn't. Get the engines going. He cloned the program thousands of times. What the hell do you think you can do with Alex released them? One of the program vanished as the other coercionist profit. Are you insane? The other screamed and went after the programs. Alex grinned. Good luck catching them all. Do you have any idea what this can? Alex's view exploded with static. The scream of system filling his earpiece. Then everything went dark. That concludes chapter 29 of Crimson. If you are enjoying this, please leave a like. If you want to know when the next one's going to be, subscribe and hit the bell. If you want to read the story, as well as the other books in the series, they are available on all major e-retailers. Links is in the note, as is the link to my Patreon, should you want to support me and get access to just about everything else I've written. And if you want to listen to me doing these live, it's every Tuesday morning on Twitch at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Links are in the notes. And with that, I shall wish you a good day.